Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and graphic designers. We're going to do Photoshop lesson 3. We're going to learn some retouching and repairing of photographs. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're doing. Okay, so write this down in your notes. The clone stamp tool copies pixels from one area of an image to another, and then here's what we're going to do. So we've got this thing right here. We've got this picture, and you can see that there's an obvious issue over here in this corner, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a tool called the clone stamp tool. So what the clone stamp tool does is if you press Alt, you say, hey, I want to pick pixels from here, and then you want to paste it over here. The only problem is what I want you guys to do is remember we're doing non-destructive editing techniques, so we're not going to destroy any pixels on this layer. So instead we're going to create a new layer. So if we come down here, we're going to create a new layer. Okay, and so if we try it here, so we're going to go again, we're going to go to the clone stamp tool, we're going to say, oh, I want pixels from here. I'm going to press the Alt key on the keyboard, and it's going to get the target. So I click, and then, oh wait, hold on. Okay, it starts off at current layer. So I'm going to click Alt, I'm going to click, and then I'm going to copy, and you can see I'm not getting anything because this layer right here is empty, and so I'm copying blank pixels to blank pixels. So what you have to do is change this right here. We want to say the current layer and below. So now it's going to get all the pixels from this layer and all the pixels from this layer. So we're going to try it again. So we're going to say, hey, I want to copy pixels from here, and then we're going to paste them down here, and then you can see we're getting the bad part again. So we'll try it again. We'll hit Alt, click, and we're going to paste the good pixels. Now it does a pretty good job of copying it, and the nice thing is no pixels were destroyed in doing this lesson. All right, now we're going to do another thing. So you can see here, over here we have a sprinkler head and a sprinkler head, which are super ugly. We do not want those sprinkler heads, so we're going to use a different tool. So let's go back to our spiel here. So we're going to use a different tool called the spot healing brush. So copy that down in your notes. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to find the spot healing brush. It's over here, so there it is. Okay, so in the same way, we're going to work on this new layer. We don't want to mess up the pixels of this layer, and we want to sample not just the layer we're on, but all the layers. And then on this one, you basically just click, and it fixes it, and you click, and it fixes it. And again, it's on this layer, so we know pixels were killed in doing this. And then finally, there's a new layer for text. We're going to turn that on, and there you have it. Okay, so make sure you save this. We're going to go File. We're going to go Save As. We're going to save it in your folder with your name on it. So you're going to save it in your folder with your name on it. You're going to save it in a folder called Creative Computers. You're going to make a folder called Raster Design Photoshop. You're going to have this thing for the book lessons, and you're going to save it in here. Okay. Good. So now we're going to move on to the next section. Okay, so now we're going to do lesson 3B, and here write this down. A layer is like a clear sheet of plastic, and all right, so write this down, the healing brush. Write those notes down, and write this down, the patch tool. And we're also going to take a look at the grade scale here. So this is what the grade scale looks like. Make sure you're using this thing. So we're going to use the healing brush to remove the graffiti and use the patch tool to remove the bolt holes. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to open up 3B, and again, we're going to start off like this. We're going to create a new layer. And we're going to go to the healing brush tool, and on the healing brush tool we're going to make sure that we switch it to current and below, because this layer is blank. So current and below, and then on this one we click on a good area, like the pixels look good here, and we can fix all these. And so it's going to matter. You're going to want to choose different areas that match really well. But anyway, go through there. So this, you don't want to pick pixels from here because this is light in color. You want to pick it from here. So press Alt to select good pixels. And then we're going to We're going to cover those up, so that looks pretty good. And then next, so you can see, by the way, that all the changes are on our new layer. And so then we're going to do we're going to do some destructive editing. So if we go to the patch tool, this one's destructive. We have to change pixels. But what we'll do is we'll select a whole area of good pixels, and then we're going to drag it over here, and it blends it in. And then we can go select, deselect. Okay, so you can see we made some pretty good changes there. All right, so we're going to save this. So we're going to go File, Save As, and then we're going to save it in Computer. We're going to save it in your folder with your name on it. You're going to save it in Creative Computers. We're going to save it in Raster Design Photoshop. We're going to go to Book Lessons, and we're going to save Lesson 3B. All right, so now we're going to work on Lesson 3C and write this down. And let's see what we're going to do here. All right, so on this one, if we look at it, we have this picture, and this guy is good, but this guy is vain, and he's like, hey, would you please get rid of these wrinkles? I'm not feeling good about these wrinkles. All right, on this particular one, we're going to make a duplicate of the image. So this whole thing, we're going to drag it there, and so we have a copy of it. So we're going to work off the copy. So I'm going to use the zoom tool. I'm going to zoom in over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these wrinkles. So we're going to use the let's see, we're going to use the healing brush tool, and so we're going to press Alt, and we're going to select. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to go back, and we're going to use the healing brush tool, and we're going to select good pixels here, and we're going to cover up these wrinkles. Okay, we're going to pick good pixels here, and we're going to cover up these wrinkles. And we're going to try to get good pixels there, cover up those wrinkles. And we're just going to keep going until we get rid of the wrinkles here and get rid of the wrinkles. All right, and so sometimes when you do stuff, it looks too smooth. So let's keep going. So we click here, get rid of these wrinkles, click here, get rid of these wrinkles. Okay, sometimes you look at something that's like, it looks a little too fake, a little too plasticky. So what you'll do is you'll click on this layer, and I'm going to turn this off. So what we'll do is we'll change the opacity. So we're going to make it see-through, right? So we're going to make it a little bit see-through. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to do it with this layer on, so some of the flaws from before, some of the wrinkles will show through, and we'll do just enough to where some wrinkles show through so it looks somewhat realistic, but we kind of smooth them out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do it at 60%, so some wrinkles show through and some don't. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save that, and that is going to be it for these lessons.